Welcome to the African American Men of Westchester's Facilitators Guide. And thank you for giving your time to participate in this year's Business Skills Olympics. Your participation is greatly needed and will be especially beneficial to the high school students with whom you will help guide during the competition. This year, we are holding the event at Iona University's Rumita Auditorium in New Rochelle, New York. AAMW's Business Skills Olympics is a county-wide high school competition at which teams evaluate the challenges contained in a graduate business school case and present their solutions to the challenge that's been presented. The cases typically present real-life conditions that require the students to evaluate the issues from a total business perspective, incorporating several corporate disciplines, specifically finance, marketing, operations, administration, and information technology. After the teams determine their best solutions, they present their findings to a distinguished panel of judges composed of local corporate and community leaders. The judges then score their presentations, and the first, second, and third place highest scoring teams will be selected the competition award winners. Each team will have approximately 8 members, and typically 15 schools participate each year in the competition. Facilitators' responsibilities. First, it is important that you read and review the case prior to the day of the event. You should have received the case or an online link to the case from your online webpage or link. If you have not, please contact us at info@aamw.com. The main job of the facilitator is to keep discussion moving forward, making sure the team you'll be working with stays on topic and on task. This is generally somewhat of a challenge in any corporate environment. For AAMW's Business Skills Olympics, it may be more so because you'll be working with adolescent students who probably have little experience, if any, with group discussion and analysis exercises. You'll therefore have to offer a bit more direct guidance to the participants than you would ordinarily in a corporate meeting. It's likely that you'll find the same kind of group and interpersonal dynamics in this situation as you would in any corporate environment. Of the 10 or so students on each team, 1 or 2 of them will be highly vocal, with strong leadership qualities and equally strong opinions that they will not be shy about expressing. These students will attempt to dominate the group discussion and may need to be reined in without stifling their enthusiasm. 1 or 2 will be at the opposite end of the spectrum, introspective, reticent, and relatively non-participative. These students will have to be drawn out. The remainder will be somewhere in the middle. During the group discussion, start by introducing yourself and have each team member introduce themselves. Even if they all know each other already, they each need to introduce themselves to you. It is very important that each student sits up, looks directly at you, and speaks clearly. This is a major part of the event experience. And it is important that the students understand the significance of this part of the process. It's an opportunity to get each individual to say something out loud. People are more likely to participate once they found their voice for the first time. Briefly review your role as facilitator, telling the students you're there to help guide the discussion only. The students themselves own the discussion, the analysis, and the subsequent presentation. Get the rules straight up front. Go over the goals of the discussion, review the components as outlined in the documentation, the questions you'd like the students to consider, and remind them that the result of the discussion will be a presentation to the larger group. Have the students elect a scribe, a timekeeper, and a spokesperson. The role of the scribe is to jot down notes on the important points made as the discussion progresses. It is a difficult role because the scribe will be doing double duty as a participant. The timekeeper should call out the time every 15 minutes, which will help to make sure the discussion doesn't bog down and enough time is left over to prepare the presentation. The spokesperson will be the student who will start the presentation of the team's findings to the audience. It's all right if the team decides to have all team members present their solution. Remind the students that the team will only have up to 5 minutes to present their solution. Once you've gotten the team organized, reviewed the overall goals of the discussion, and gotten things moving, your basic role is one of monitoring and guiding. At this point, the less you say the better. The students should take ownership of the discussion and keep things moving along themselves. You should simply make sure they're staying on task, that they're considering all the various components of the case, and that they're using their time effectively and productively. Step in only if the discussion bogs down or if they're spending too much time on one aspect of the case. The case may have additional data and a variety of other referential types of information. The students will be informed prior to the event that they're responsible for reading and comprehending all aspects of the case. Remember that these are Harvard Business School cases meant for master's degree candidates. You may find an eager student or two on your team who wants to talk about or analyze data outside of the case. Limit these types of tangent discussions. Some suggestions. Following are some suggestions for how to facilitate the group discussion in order to provide the students with a positive experience and make the Business Skills Olympics as successful as possible. In advance of the event, thoroughly read and be familiar with the case study you'll be facilitating. The students are expected to come to the event prepared. You should be too. You'll destroy your credibility if you're not knowledgeable about the material. Prepare 3 or 4 questions you'd like the students to consider about the case, questions that are a little more case-specific within the components as outlined above. Since multiple teams will be working on the same case, the facilitators of each case should get together in advance to coordinate on these questions and ensure that all teams are considering the same questions. Case discussion and analysis. Generally speaking, the discussion and analysis of the cases will consist of the following components. 1. Note major case issues and facts. 2. Identify all components and factors the case presents. 3. Analyze actions taken by the business. 4. List opinions, thoughts, and concerns raised by the team. 5. Pinpoint ongoing and long-term effects facing the business. 6. Describe and document the team's resolutions and remedies. General helpful hints. 1. Keep sidebar conversations to a minimum. There should only be one person speaking at a time, and all team members should listen and consider each other's remarks. It's important that they respect each other. 2. Make sure no one dominates the discussion and try to draw out any students who are holding back. 3. Remember that your responsibility as a facilitator is to the whole group, not to individuals. 4. Expect differences of opinion. If handled well, they can contribute to creative solutions. 5. Be suspicious of agreements reached too easily. Test to make sure there really is agreement on essential points. The competition this year is set for April 22nd, 2026. Here's what the day looks like. From 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., students will be arriving. Between 8:30 a.m. and 10 a.m., we'll have a continental breakfast, say our hellos as a group, and listen to the keynote speaker. From 10 a.m. until 1:15 p.m., there will be breakout sessions, which include a working lunch. From 1:15 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., we'll have presentations, the judging will take place, and the winners will be announced. The day wraps up with photo sessions from 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. This year's case, Flanner House and Community-Led Development, is a Harvard Business School case that follows the transformation of a century-old Indianapolis nonprofit into a multi-service community-led development anchor and the hard choices it faces about financing a new facility and 120 units of affordable housing in its community. Competition discussion prompts. 1. What economic forces drive the gap between housing costs and household incomes? And what interventions have the most evidence of closing that gap? 2. How does holonomy mirror concepts like vertical integration or systems thinking in business strategy? 3. Using AMI data for Westchester County, which of the 3 challenges do you believe creates the greatest economic burden, and why? 4. What is the business case for investing in workforce training as part of an affordable housing strategy? 5. If you had $10 million to invest in affordable housing in Westchester County, which strategy would you fund first, and how would you measure your return on investment? If you have any questions or concerns, we can be reached at info@aamw.com.